Okay, hello everyone. I've been nominated by Nick at British Legion and Lee, Mel and Jamie over at the BattleBunkerBlog gaming group channels to do a video response to the I'm a Wargamer round robin about how I started in the hobby and a few questions about my channel. I've tried this video before and this is the third time, so hopefully I can keep it concise. As a child, I was probably most influenced kind of getting into this hobby by the films of Ray Harryhausen. The Clash of the Titans, Jason and the Argonauts, Sinbad films, Guanji, those kind of things. Just blew my mind when I saw them. The creative worlds, the mythology, the stop motion animation, they've influenced me a lot in my life, not only wargaming, but they also my other hobbies and my studies and even my career to some degree. But I was fascinated by them, and that's what sparked my imagination. That's where my kind of playing with my toy soldiers and things, those were the kind of things I was trying to recreate, the scenes from those films. And as for wargaming, when I went with my family to a shop in Plymouth that's no longer there called Games Inc. Because my brother wanted to get the Dungeons and Dragons red box, and he was getting that, and I was in that store. I was fascinated by they had a few displays of just blister packs of the monsters from Harryhausen and The Hobbit, and there were dragons, there were chimeras and skeletons and orcs and things. And I just it opened my eyes to the world of kind of hobby gaming. But I just saw them as toys still. But I went away, I think, with a blister pack with 4 models. I think they were like hobgoblins or something like that, or some kind of orc. And it was 4. I think it was 4 models in a blister pack for 50p. That's maybe showing my age a bit. But I went home, and as I said, they were just toys to me, so they just became part of my collection, and played random games with them. Got into D&D a little bit with my brother was playing it with his school friends. I didn't have anyone interested in it, so read the rule books, got inspired by kind of the worlds they were trying to create and those narratives, and the game was imagination, make it up in your head. And I was doing that anyway, but there was a lot of inspiration from those books, a lot of things I hadn't considered in it, didn't know about. These books were full of dungeons and traps and weapons and roles for different players that I didn't know about, and they just built upon what was already in my head. But from that kit, I pretty much permanently borrowed the monster manual from my brother, and I read that thing inside out and back to front and upside down countless times. That opened my eyes to wanting to play games that used all these creatures more, wanting to play anything which touched on these kind of worlds. I think going forward from there, every birthday and every Christmas for my brother and me were Hero Quest, Space Crusade, Dark Future, Space Hulk, Blood Bowl, Epic, Space Marine Epic. That was my brother's big thing, and that's probably where we both got a kind of big start of wargaming. My brother was really into that and built up an Ultramarines force and an Orc force and an Eldar force. I think that's what came in the base box. And we played that. We played anything. They're most of these examples are kind of board game, war game things, but they definitely were that kind of foot in the door of wargaming. As my brother got a bit older, he got into exams and studies and off to university, so that left me on my own to try and play these games. And none of my friends were really interested. So I wasn't as driven. I was more then into the modelling side and the painting side, and by now you could get a few of the plastic box sets, with sprues, and I remember the Beaky Marines from Rogue Trader, and a big box of skeletons. You get a giant box of about 40 or 50 skeletons, and it was really cheap. I love that kit. And that's probably the first kit I properly kind of went to town with when it comes to modelling. And then after that, kind of similar to my brother, I kind of got into studies myself and got distracted and off to university. After graduation, came back and tried a few things, kind of picking back up my old models and seeing what was there. But the interest was kind of light. I was just building a few things here and there with kits that caught my attention, but didn't really get into playing again. Maybe Blood Bowl was probably the one thing that I kept up. Just playing a few teams in a kind of small league at home. And that's kind of, I slid back out of the hobby until about 10 years ago I moved cross country, bought a house for getting into the career I'm in now, and my parents dumped all my old stuff on me, all my old boxes from the attic and bedroom, and that gave me all that stuff back that I had put away. I had a nice few weeks of nostalgia looking through those. Ultimately they went to the side as well. I had a colleague at work who happily took them off my hands. And that's until about 2 years ago, maybe. In the interim, I got into board games a lot more. So I was playing a lot more board games. Got some friends from work who played. About 2 years ago, I got into painting some miniatures. I thought I'd give that a go. So I was looking for a creative kind of outlet. My job had gone very much from being highly creative to kind of a lot more admin. So I didn't have that place to go to be creative. But painting kind of helped me find that a bit. And that led back into, I'm missing modelling, I'm missing a bit of gaming, I'm missing that kind of all the pieces of the puzzle. I looked at Games Workshop stuff. Everything was familiar. I knew everything that was there. All the specialist games were still there, albeit 5 times the price. Wasn't interested in 40k, and this was the kind of time when Fantasy had gone away and Age of Sigmar was out, so it didn't really appeal. But the hook was definitely there. I was definitely interested in doing something, and went on YouTube, found some videos, found a lot of battle reports, probably found most of your channels, and ultimately ended up looking at Bolt Action to jump into, which is how my channel started. I wanted to kind of get into the starter set of that. I'd admit, since I've started that, the flow has continued, and I've been looking everywhere else and getting inspired by other games and things. And I'm going to have videos coming up for kind of mini projects to touch on a lot of other things. And I have another big project planned for the end of this year. And that brings us kind of today. I'm into Bolt Action right now. Just starting to get into the kind of playing as well as modelling and painting, but I'm really enjoying that, and I'm back into it now. I said, and that's where we are now. One of the other questions we had was, where do you see your channel in 5 years' time? You might know if you've seen some videos that my wife and I have a 1-year-old baby at the moment, and she takes up all our time. So to make a plan for 5 years' time of what I want to do with my channel, that's not how new parents think. I'd love to try different things. I'd love to try battle reports. I'd love to keep the channel going and definitely develop and learn new skills. Try some. I used to do editing and After Effects and things like that. So I'd like to incorporate some of that in when I get the chance. But right now, my kind of free time is the 5-10 minutes it takes to record these things, here and there, and a little when I do get other free time, I'd rather be painting and kind of modelling. So right now I'm just going to stick to the bench updates, workbench updates, painting updates, and go, just grow it organically. I'm not after subs, I'm not after kind of chasing money through this or anything like that. I just like the community and sharing kind of work and seeing what other people share. So tips for newcomers, I would echo everything that's been said already, absolutely. The one thing that I thought I could add is don't be daunted by the technical side, the back end, the kind of YouTube studio end. It's super simple. That's one thing that kind of put me off a little when I started. I didn't know half the settings and what to do. To get you going, it's as simple as dropping a video. You let YouTube get on with it. Stick on a title, stick in a description, some tags if you want, and that's it. You can choose when to publish it, when to make it private, whether to make it public. You can always take them down, you can always edit them, you can always change these things. You have full control over the comments and any of the kind of extra little bits here and there, but you don't need to know any of that stuff to get started. It's really simple. But yeah, as everyone else said, just jump in, give it a go. Yeah. And also, I was supposed to make 3 nominations for other people to do this video. Since I said I've made this the 3rd attempt at making this video. When I made the 1st attempt, I had a list, and since then, so many more versions of this video have come out from other people, and the people on my list have been nominated not once but twice at least. So, going to be a bit wishy-washy, and I'd like to nominate or invite any of my subs watching this who don't have any videos on their channel to take this as an invitation, an opportunity to make your first video. I have a few subs who have channels set up and ready to go, and there's comments saying they're ready to go. Now's the chance. And I also have people who have left very nice comments telling me what they're working on, similar to my bolt action and stuff like that. Now's a chance to show us. Just make a quick video, let us know who you are and what you're up to. I'll change the 3rd question, which is tips for newcomers, to show us what you're doing, show us what you've been working on the past week and the past month. But it would be great to see some new channels kind of kick off as a result of this round robin. If you do make a new video, stick it in the comments of this video, a link to it, and I'll give you a shout out on a future video and try and get you some subs. I think that's it. Quick update on what I'm doing. I yesterday finished varnishing the final bolt action infantry, so that army is done apart from basing now. So I'm about to make a video if I got time for the next mini project, and as I said, I've got plans in the works for a big project later this year for a very special birthday of mine that's coming up, but I'll stick that in a later video. So I hope everyone's well, hope everyone's staying safe, and I'll see you soon.